let's get things rolling here. We are going to be covering a couple of things, starting with our challenge question, talking about $20 per hour. Pretty good wage for a high school student, I must say. So make sure you're into the Google Classroom, pull up our challenge question, and we'll look at it here in a minute. But also we're going to be doing some more drill techniques and assembling techniques and making that actual box that you see in the question. So here's the outline for today, so you know where we are heading. Today's challenge question is going to open up conversation and dialogue about what does it take to actually assemble something of value out of wood that somebody would actually pay you to build. So there is our context, and from that, we're going to be learning a ton about using our drill driving tools, our pilot hole and countersinking tools, what kind of fasteners we're going to be using and why. Lots of good vocabulary today, by the way, so strap in because you're going to hear a lot of cool new words that we need to know and have as our way of being good builders and talking with each other and understanding that a designer, when they put together a build design plan, use this same vocabulary. And if we don't know it, we can't build accurately, and the whole thing kind of falls in on itself. So we're going to learn a ton about that, and we're going to keep it as interactive as we can. So I'm going to be asking you guys to unmute a whole bunch and asking you to walk me through these steps, or I may be asking you, how would you do it? If I told you this is what needed to be done, what would be your first couple of steps? So I need to see how your mind is working in the problem solving and in the building process, just so I get a better idea of where you guys are at and how much more I need to share and teach and get you guys prepared so that when we get our tools and our materials this week, we can hopefully have a pretty quick learning curve and get up and running and start building some stuff. Okay, so that's what's cooking. Here is the challenge question. Bum, bum, bum. So, yes or no, okay, would you like to earn $20 per hour from home building this wood box to the design specifications? Yes or no? I go, yeah, baby. That would be pretty sweet, right? And we're going to be talking about that, but I thought in the context for me, especially as an entrepreneur, the minute somebody presents an opportunity to make and earn a certain amount of money, I'm like, ooh, how could we do that? And what kind of materials would we use? And how quick would I have to put them together? And ooh, right? I don't know. That's the way I think. And I wanted to bring that to you guys as well, because I'm assuming a lot of you guys do have to have some kind of side job or want a side job to help pay for things in your life. And therefore, we all know what minimum wage is around the state of California. And that $20 per hour mark is well above, right? Well above minimum wage. So I'll show you what we're going to be doing with that. But right now, if you haven't already, jump into and enter your answer, submit that back. And I am actually going to go look live now at our Google Classroom and the responses coming in. And I will share with you what those responses are. We currently have 3 of you in here. So Mateo, Alan, and Bryce have their answers in, and all 3 of them are saying, yes, please, baby. Yes, please. Okay. So there comes one more. I got Brian in there. He's also saying yes. So we're on a good trend here. Don't be afraid to say no. You're like, no, that has no real interest to me, but that's okay. But if it is kind of interesting, put a yes, because I need to know. Eric is all in. I figured that. He has been with us 3 times. I think this is your 3rd time. And that man knows how to build cool stuff. So is it? See, this whole COVID thing, and it's like, I feel like I've known you for 3 years. 2nd time through, super cool. Monique, thank you. Oh man, you're still with us. You're doing the question. Awesome. She also says yes. And Christian saying yes. So we currently have 7 yeses and 0 nos, which gives me a good pumped up feeling for how I'm going to teach today. So keep those answers coming in. I need to get all of you in, which today will be, what, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 of us. So if you haven't opened that up yet, 7, 8, 9, I need 2 more of you guys to submit that question and make sure you get your answers in here before we kind of move on. So I'm rambling. Who hasn't turned in? We've got, here's who's turned in: Mateo, Alan, Bryce, Brian, Eric, Monique, Christian. Who are we missing? Who are we missing? Mateo, Eric, Martin, Christian, Miguel, and Alan. Do we have Alan in there? Yeah, Alan's in there. All right, super cool. I think we got it. Almost there. So let's go back and let's keep talking about this idea of what the question's all about. On the first kind of just basic context, would you like to earn? Yes, please. Okay. I didn't say, would you like to get? I didn't say, would you like to make? The word is earn. Okay. And so we are a career and technical education class, and we are all about learning the skills necessary to earn a good life wage, a good hourly wage. So I like the word earn a whole lot more. It means you have to do your part. You can't just sit back and like, hey, I'm just going to make that, or give me 20 bucks an hour. No, no, no. We've got skills that we learn specifically to do these jobs. And the more skills that we can do well, the higher the amount per hour or job we can earn. That's just the way we roll. And so there's our first kind of vocabulary. We're going to learn how to earn. See how that all goes together? Learn how to earn $20 per hour from home. So in other words, all these tools that we're going to see here on my workbench is going to be the identical stuff you're going to have on your little workbench at home coming to you Wednesday and Thursday of this week, right? You're going to be picking those things up from the library between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. starting on Wednesday. Okay, here's the deal. Build this little wood box. Okay, I'm just using this as an example. This could very well be this little cool little thing, right? Which we're going to do this too, because we're going to time how long it takes us to actually build this sucker. But the idea here is if we learn the skill, we get to earn something of value. Now, I get it. This is all kind of pretend, and I'm not going to pay you $20 an hour to do this, but you are in school, and the knowledge you are gaining should have value. It just shouldn't be in one ear and out the other. It should be something you go, oh, no. I like what I'm learning here with Mr. V. I like doing the types of stuff we're doing. Therefore, I'm gaining knowledge, and that's the value. Get it? It's not 20 bucks an hour, but what is it? Is it worth? I'm thinking this is like $1,000 hour kind of stuff, maybe. Who knows? So that's what we're talking about. And the second group there that's underlined, if you see that in red and anything that's underlined, that's going to tell me I need to tell you guys what that is. It's kind of like vocabulary to make sure we all are speaking the same language here. Okay. So it says, build this wood box to design specifications. Dun, da, da, da. Okay, so Christian, if you wouldn't mind unmuting real quick and help us teach this little section here. Christian, are you out there? Awesome. Christian, what do you think I mean by the term design specifications? How would you put that in your own words? That's a good question, huh? Okay, good. Well, let's break it down. If somebody said you're designing something, how would you describe that? What am I talking about when I say we're designing something? Cool. Excellent. He said thinking about it in my mind and then drawing something out. Perfect. In our context of building things, it starts with an idea in our head, and then we draw it onto paper or digital environment so that we can share it with somebody that has the building skills to actually put it together and do what we've created in our head. So that's what design is all about. And you guys, if you're not into that or not very interested, I'm super interested. I love that process of going, man, I have this idea for this simple little box built out of 1x4 MDF painted red, right? I mean, This all came to me this morning, just to let y'all know. And I spent this morning designing what this would be so that I could bring it to you guys very specifically. There we go. There's the next word. Design specifications. So here's the definition. Specific directions saying, I want that screw right there to be 3/8 of an inch from the edge and 3/4 of an inch down from the top. Is that specific enough for you guys? Because what happens is you're sitting there going, I didn't design the little red box, Mr. V did. And if I just showed this to you and said, hey, make this, you might get close, absolutely, if you had some of the skills you need to do. But design specifications, when it comes from a designer and they have a specific reason why they put this 3/4 of an inch down from the top edge of that particular piece of wood, there's specifications that we need to follow as builders. So there you go. We're earning stuff and we're going to follow the design specifications because that's how, in this little scenario, we get paid. So logic this out. If I was a company and I was going to pay you $20 an hour to build a bunch of these, but you gave them back to me and they were all different, they were crooked, they were out of square, they didn't quite match up. These, one had one screw, one had two screws, right? Would you pay me for those boxes that you built? The big fat answer is no way. Because if I'm the business owner, here's the deal. And I am selling this particular box to a customer that ordered it online and saw the picture and said, I love those boxes. I want 10 of those boxes. But I send them a box that doesn't look like the picture on the screen. They're going to be going, I hate these guys. Give me my money back. I'm going to give you terrible reviews online. I'm going to try to destroy your business. Right? The haters come out and all of a sudden we got problems. So that is the why behind learning how to build to design specifications, because everybody wins. You win because you get paid $20 an hour for doing this. The business owner wins because they then resell it and they got happy customers that keep coming back. That is the economic loops and circles of the American system of entrepreneurship, right? So everything is good. Okay, so we get it. We get it. We get it. We get it. Okay, so here's the next thing. Want you to understand this concept of earning, because what I'm telling you is just not something I made up in my head this morning. Now, this design of the cool little red box, yes, made it up this morning, figured out how to build it. I'm going to share it with you. On the screen, you're going to see, well, how do I earn $20 per hour? Okay, here's how it works. And this is a very legitimate way to do business in kind of, especially a small craft or, woodworking type business. And it's called this. It's called piecework. You see it there on the screen. Okay. If I make one piece to the design specifications, I will get paid a certain amount of money per box. Here's how it happens. So look on the screen. For example, if I could assemble 10 of these in a 1 hour time period, I would make my $20 per hour. Now, some of you have got good math skills and you're already running the numbers, okay? But the piecework, the definition is right there on the screen. You are paid by the number of, here's the kicker, approved pieces you build. Okay, we'll get into that in a minute. Okay, one piece, dun-da-da-da. Now look on the screen. Well, let's do the math. And here's how you would figure it out. Has somebody already figured it out? No? Okay, so if I assemble 10 of these per hour, how long does it take me on average to build one of these little boxes? Anybody do the math yet? Anybody want to take a guess? No guesses. Everybody's waiting to see. All right, here it is on screen. Here we go. Dun, da, da, da. So you said 10 minutes per box to earn 20. Okay, cool. Yeah, I was going to say, you know better than that. Here it is. Look on the screen. So in every hour, we got how many minutes? 60. Cool. So we divide 60 by, let's say we can make 10 of these an hour. Cool. Straight up math, man. I did it real simple. That means I need to make one box every 6 minutes of that hour. 6 minutes. Well, I personally haven't timed myself yet. I built these this morning, but I think after I show you how to do this, maybe it takes me, I don't know, 20 or 10 or 15 minutes the first one. But by the fifth, I'm like, I got this, man. Just set it all up, and I zing, zam, zam, drop, zing. All of a sudden, I go, no worries. I can easily do one of these in 6 minutes. Therefore, the company said they will pay me. Anybody do the math? How much money are you going to get paid per box that you make? There's the other way. Remember, we called that piece work. All right, piecework. If I'm making 6, if I'm making 10 per hour, and I'm getting $20 per hour, 20 divided by 10 is $2. There you go. So if I was the business owner, that's how I would present it to you as an at-home builder. I'd say, I'm going to pay you $2 per box for every box that meets my specifications and passes my quality control, because I'm not going to pay you $2 for a piece of junk, right? But if you do, it's $2 every single time you complete one of these bad boys, and I buy it from you at $2 per piece. Bam! Mind blown. $20 per hour. Make one of these every 6 minutes. I can work 3 hours a day and make 60 bucks. That'd be a pretty sweet deal. Go to school from 9 to 3, and then a couple of hours in the afternoon, a couple of hours on Saturday. Bada bing. You see how the money could kind of add up there real quick? Okay, get you excited, hopefully, but at least hope you're listening. This is good. So let's keep the conversation going. Now that we know the money and it's $2 per box. Now, if the box is not right and we build it incorrectly, you don't get nothing. It's a big fat zero. Okay, you wasted your time, you wasted the material, and that's part of piecework. But if our primary, yeah, what's up, Eric? Yeah, so that would be the other side of the equation as a business owner. If I was going to give you that job or that opportunity, I'd have to make sure that I could sell these boxes for at least double. So $4. And then I've got my own business expenses built into there, right? So I've got to ship it, I've got to market it, I've got to collect the money, I've got to do all the other business things. And so you subtract that from the $2 of profit, gross profit. So maybe at the end of the day, I'm making 75 cents a box or a buck a box. That is the full cycle of kind of the entrepreneurial world known as piecework and direct marketing and distributing through like a digital platform, like an Etsy or whatever, right? So that, as Eric's saying, is even the bigger circle, because if I do my research wrong as a business owner and I tell you, hey, build these boxes for $2 each, and then I find out I can only sell them for $2.50, we got a problem, Houston, right? I mean, that's 50-cent gross profit is not enough to keep me in business. And all of a sudden I go out of business and you lose your $20 an hour, piece job. So there you go. That's the full cycle of entrepreneurship. Now, the idea here though, back on our side of the table, if you got these parts and you were going to build them, here's what we'd have to talk about. The primary goal for us as builders is right there on the screen. Everybody look at it. It's highlighted right there, black letters, orange background. Build accurately to the plan specifications. That's our job. We have to get the skills necessary to build this accurately according to what the designer told us to do. Very specific, and I'm going to show you some of those things. The term build accurately, each box must pass what's called a quality control inspection. Quality control, okay? And before you get paid for your work. That's how it happens. So let's say in this scenario, I send 6 of the pieces cut and I send it to you in one of these boxes, and your job is to spend 1 hour and to assemble all 6. You assemble them, you put them back in the box, you send them back to me, and I start to do the quality control. I pull out box number 1 and I go, ooh, look, that's really nice. The countersinks are good. Everything is square, everything is flush. Rounded corners are on the outside of the box. I have my little inspection sheet. Good to go. That one qualifies. $2 to Eric. Ching. Okay. Now, here's what happens. If the plan specifications, right, it's all the details of the build that must match what this thing actually gets turned into. Okay. So if I was presenting this to you guys, I would need to give you the plan and specifications. So maybe it's plans drawn out so you kind of see how it all goes together. Perfect. And then it may be a list that looks something like this. Check the screen. Dun, da, da, da. Okay, 4 main things that you would be basically graded on. Okay, there's the context for us in school. I am going to grade you on these 4 points. Okay, if you get them all 4 right, you get an A. If you get 2 of them right, you get a C. If you get 1 of them right, you get an F. Okay, that's kind of our world in education. But in the world of career, get this. If you would miss any one of those 4, I wouldn't pay you $2 for this. Because I can't sell it for $4 if it doesn't look like what I promised my customers. Therefore, it has 0 value. And I'm paying you nothing. So this kind of gives the real important specifications and learning the skills to do it right so that I can consistently make $2 a box all day long if I wanted to. So here it is. Number 1 specification, all fasteners countersunk and flush. I'll give you a little sample right there. Countersunk, oops, where's my hand? Yep. Camera, countersunk and flush to the outside surface. There's vocabulary for you. If you don't know what countersink is, I'm going to show you in a minute. If you don't know what flush is, I'm going to show you here in a minute. Okay. Specification number 2, all outside edges flush. Let's see, inside of the box, outside of the box. So if I'm thinking all outside edges must be flush. So that corner right there is flush with that corner. That corner right there is flush with that corner. That corner is flush with that one. That one's flush with that one. Okay? Super important. Number 3, rounded corners to the outside of the box. Check this out. This wood has a sharp edge right here, a 90 degree, and then on the other side, it is rounded over. You can kind of see it right there, profile. See it? Okay. So design specification says all the rounded edges need to be to the outside edge of the box. So if you turn this into me and you had 3 sides with it to the outside and 1 side reversed and turned to the inside, reject, you don't get your $2. Okay, there you go. Number 4, here it is. All 4 corners square and the box sits flat on a tabletop. Okay, you guys remember, anytime you hear the word square, you should be thinking this tool, speed square. Because if I put that speed square on that corner, my box should match up. This should be flush across the end because this is a 90 degree measuring tool. And if I rotate it and go like that, you shouldn't see any gaps along that edge. And that tells me the box is square, square, square. Okay. This would pass and I'd get my $2. Super cool. All right. So that is the absolute basics and reality of what we're going to be going through once we get these tools out to you. I wanted to share this super cool concept of how it works in the, again, economy of, free enterprise. But then as it applies back to us in a high school education system, these 4 points that are on the screen, that's what you're going to be graded on. You get all 4 of them right, A. You get 2 of them right, it's a C minus. You get 1 of them right, F, fail. Okay, so there's the 2 worlds we're playing in. Okay, excellent. Now you can tell I get kind of excited about this because I love entrepreneurship. I've been doing it since, I don't know, I think I was 9 or 10 when I started my first little business. Okay, started at 15 in the construction trades as a landscape maintenance person. Okay, and then from that point on, I'm 55, 54 years old. Been doing it a long time. So super fun to teach you guys this stuff. Here on the screen, some more super important vocabulary. And this right here, you've got to memorize. Lock it in, look at the screen, burn it into your eyeballs, okay? The drill and assembly skills to make this box, super critical, and I'm going to be teaching you one of them today. I'm going to have visuals on the screen, you see them, and then we're going to go to the workbench and I'm going to physically show you all these different deals, right? These techniques to make sure, hopefully, you guys lock it in. So here we go. Pilot hole must be drilled parallel to the attaching board. Okay, just let that sink in for a second for a dramatic effect. Pilot hole must be drilled parallel to the attaching board. So if I'm trying to attach this board to this board, I have to drill parallel to this edge of this board. So look on the screen right there. I've got a series of lines, and let's just go through this. Miguel, are you out there? Miguel, are you out there? Miguel. Awesome. Okay, cool. Miguel, look at the screen real quick, and we're talking about parallel. And so the first 2 lines on the screen right there with the green box, in your mind, are those parallel lines? Excellent. The next group of lines in the red box, are those parallel lines? Why are they not parallel lines? Great. He said they're not straight with each other. So if I make this one crooked, we're no longer parallel. If I make this one crooked or that one crooked, we're not parallel. Parallel means it has the same distance from the top to the bottom and it stays parallel. Okay? So anytime I go like this, Miguel, you're going to say parallel. Ready? Let's practice. Ready? Go. Okay. Is this parallel? Is this parallel? Excellent. Okay, the next box over, Miguel just said that's not parallel. Okay, it's important, by the way. Here's another word for you: perpendicular. What? Okay, parallel, perpendicular. Parallel, perpendicular. Okay, perpendicular. Hey, look, it matches our 90-degree measurement. So for the word, hey, is your box square? What we're really asking is, do all 4 corners, are they perpendicular at a 90-degree angle? You're like, whoa, that's a lot of science and weird terms. But ultimately, that's our job as builders. If I want to get paid my $2 a box, I better know what a parallel line is and what a perpendicular line is, or a square, or I'm not going to get paid. I like that. For me, it kind of gives me good motivation to kind of pay attention and, figure this thing out. Because I don't know about you, I make mistakes all the time, but I like to learn from my mistakes and not keep repeating them. And so in our little, work life scenario, if I gave you a box of 6 of these parts and you only were paid for 3 of the 6, you'd be like, what? Mr. V, that was so stupid. You're like, no, we agreed. You signed a contract. If you didn't hit all 4 of those design specifications, I'm giving you nada, 0. Okay? So that's for me. I'm like, okay, I better learn what parallel lines are because it's important and I'm getting paid for it. So therefore, parallel lines are now my friend. Okay. So that's what I want to make sure. I got you graphically on the screen. Look at those lines. Parallel, not parallel, not parallel. Here we go. Now we can build some stuff. Here, we're finally getting there. I've given you visuals. I've given you the why behind what we're talking about. Now the skill comes into place. I need to drill a pilot hole. Switch that around. Voila, pilot hole bit. And it needs to be parallel to the board I am attaching. So look on the screen. I got it all color coded for you guys. I am a visual learner, and I bet you the most of you are. So give me a diagram, give me some colors, and man, that helps me memorize what the heck a parallel pilot hole is, okay? So look at the screen. We're attaching the board that's on the back side, so you can see that in orange. And we have to drill through the front board on the center line. Here's another word for you. Got to know this one too. Center line. And keep the drill parallel to the outside edge of the board, which are the red lines. Okay, I'm talking slowly and I'm making sure everybody's looking at this screen. Okay, Alan, are you out there real quick? Excellent. Alan, help me out. I've been talking for, I don't know, 15 minutes. And if you're looking at that picture on the screen, do you understand what I'm trying to tell you? Excellent. Okay. And if you, like, I'm just trying to see if you've got like the vocabulary. So he said drilling in the middle of the board and drilling it straight. Okay. That's kind of what I'm saying. I'm giving you some different vocabulary that is more specific to the building and design industry. But ultimately, that's what we need to do. If I want to attach two boards like this in the picture, I need to use a drill bit and I need to drill through the material, both the first board and into the second board. And that's called a pilot hole because that's going to pilot and guide the actual fastener, which is this little bad boy right here, this little wood screw, so that when I tighten it together, it doesn't split or break, because that would be bad, either one of those boards. And if we don't drill it on the center line of the board, we have a really good chance of splitting the board that we're attaching to. And I'll show you what that looks like. If we go one way, if we go right too far, or if we go left too far, we could even drill it so that we miss a board we're trying to attach, and this screw kind of pushes out the side. You're not getting paid. That's not what the design specification says. It says it all needs to be square, looking super pretty, and I don't want to see any sharp screw heads poking through the side of my box. Okay, thank you very much, but you're not getting paid for that. So the image that's on the screen, everybody, understand the word parallel is what we're talking about, where the bit, drop my fastener. The drill and the screw are all in parallel to the attaching board that we're trying to pilot hole, okay? So remember this image, and now I'm gonna go do it here on the work table. And all of this stuff that we just talked about, I hope starts to make sense as we build our cool little box, okay? You ready? Let's see. I think that was my last slide for this. Excellent. Okay, so let's do this. I'm gonna set up so that we can take a look at what I'm doing here on the work table. Whoops. I've got cables all over the place, so I'm gonna move my camera into place. I'm going to tilt down so that I can talk to you guys and work with my hands here on the table, okay? So let's kind of go through the process of building these boxes. I am going to stop and ask you guys questions through this entire process because I want to know if you were listening and retaining the last 15 minutes of stuff, because it's going to happen to you guys out in your class, in your home classroom here at the end of the week. So here we go. Going to set the box that we built, because here's what's going to come in your box right here. You're going to get 4 pieces of wood. I've cut them on the power miter saw because you guys are not going to have a power miter saw. You're not going to have any kind of saw material at home because that's way too dangerous, because we start cutting off fingers or fingertips. That would be a bad day. So Eric, there's one question for you. To keep it simple and safe and fun at home for you guys, I'm going to be doing kind of the pre-setup, which is I cut 5 pieces of 1-inch by 4-inch medium density fiberboard, MDF. And this is going to be the material we're going to use to build our cool little boxes. Okay, so according to the design specifications, check this out. On my board, where did I mark it? Stand by. It's like a puzzle. Okay. I'm going to be building this box like this. I'm going to have 2 pieces on the outside. I'm going to have 2 pieces that are going to go on the inside. And this is where it becomes super important. See that little rounded over edge? According to the specification, that needs to be to the outside edge of the box. So rounded over edge, rounded over edge, rounded over edge, rounded over edge. Got it. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to put this box together, and it says all 4 corners need to be flush and square. Well, the good news is if I cut the piece correctly, every single one of them is the exact same length. Half our job is done in regards to keeping everything square. Square, square, because all the distances are the same as long as we line them up in an equal pattern like this, okay? So I know if I put the box together like that, I'm golden. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to put our fasteners through the end boards this way, okay? Excellent. Now we're getting somewhere. Well, the next question is, well, where do I drill those holes? I'm going to give you that design specification. And here it is. Look, let me let the camera focus real quick. So we've got 3/8 of an inch from the outside edge of the board to where the center of the screw is going to be. Okay, 3/8 of an inch, very specific. And then from the bottom of the board to where the center of the hole is going to be 3/4 of an inch. So we're going to mark 3/4 of an inch from the top, 3/4 inch from the bottom. X marks the spot. That's where we're going to drill. So if I do what's called layout, this is what you're going to do. I'm going to come over and I'm going to measure and mark all of my pieces before I set up to start drilling my pilot hole. Let me show you how we're going to do that, okay? This one's already done. I've got my second piece right here, and let me ask somebody, based on using which tool, this might not be the right tool, okay? Christian Allen, I'm picking the next person in line there. Bryce, are you out there? Excellent. Okay. If I asked you to draw all these lines and marks on this board, which tool would you think could do it the best and the fastest? This one or this one? This one or this one? Excellent. Good thinking. See, that's all I'm wanting you guys to do is talk out loud with me. He said the best way to do that is because the multi-mark has this function where I turn this little dial and then I push that out and I says 3/4 of an inch. I set it right there. Let me get a little closer. 3/4 of an inch. Woo! Lighting is weird. You guys, I'm trying to get good at this, but in any event, 3/4 of an inch. Got it. Now this tool is set between the blue side and the end of the scale. It's 3/4 of an inch. So if I then take my pencil and I know 3/4 of an inch from the bottom of the board, and I make a little mark, and then I go top of the board, make a little mark. I move over to the other side because we're working here, and I make a little mark, top of the board, bottom of the board. Okay, hey, I got to do this twice because it's two sides. So I'd leave it set at 3/4, and I go 3/4, make a mark, 3/4, make a mark, slide it over, 3/4, make a mark, 3/4, make a mark. Okay, so now I've got all of my top and bottom marks taken care of. I'm going to change the setting on my multi-mark to the second measurement, which in this case was 3/8. Okay, so I loosen that, slide this down to where it comes and sees 3/8 of an inch. Bada bing, tighten that little nut. And now I'm measuring from the sides to create the X marks the spot. So I can hold it against the board, make my mark. 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 Cool. Come over here, same enchilada. Make my mark, 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 mark. Okay, my layout's done. Bada bing. Put my tool back together properly, slide it right there in my pouch where I know it goes, put my pencil right there in my pouch where I know it goes. Bada bing, I'm ready to start the pilot hole process. Now check this out. To make the pilot hole work properly, I'm going to realign all my parts the way they're supposed to be. Rounded edges to the outside, got it. Rounded edges to the outside, bring that together. Round the edges to the outside, bring that together. Now here is a quick way to make sure we can drill all of those holes and keep everything together aligned properly while we are pilot holing and driving our screws. And we're going to use this little bad boy right here. Okay, quick clamp. Each one of you are getting 2 of these in your toolkit, okay? And if I push that little lever right there, it lets me slide the clamp easily to the point where it can put objects in between. So if I do this, check it out, put my quick clamp right down the middle, get it snug so that it's kind of holding, and then I'm going to just gently squeeze the handle until I feel a little bit of pressure, okay? I'm going to make sure I'm pressing and it's staying flat against the table. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to check all of these 4 edges to make sure they are flush. Flush, meaning I don't feel, again, flush is kind of a do it by hand and eye thing, is I'm going to move that piece in and out until I put my finger along that edge and it's nice and smooth. I don't feel a ridge, I don't feel a dip. Then I'll come down here, same thing. I'll push that out with my finger a little bit until it becomes nice and flush. And then I kind of work both sides to get the best possible fit for the right-hand side. I'm just kind of playing with that a little bit until I get it the best it can be, because wood is wood. It's not perfect, okay? Here's one thing we need to learn. Even though there's a design specification, we all know that wood does different things. It warps, it bends, it's not always exactly correct. And so a lot of times as a builder, we have to play the averages, is what it's called. In other words, if this is a little bit off here, but it's perfect down here and it's perfect over here, I'm okay with that. I played the averages because I'm playing with it, you can see, and I'm not coming up with an absolute perfect flush all the way around. But I am really close, and that would be acceptable. Get this, in some tolerances, as far as specifications go, they'll even give you a dimension. They'll say, you could be off by 1/64th of an inch or 1/32nd of an inch. And you're like, whoa, how big is that? Well, If I was doing the quality control, I'd have a tool similar to this, and I'd set it to 1/64th, and I'd come over here and I'd measure, and I go, ooh, that's actually 1/8 of an inch off. Doesn't meet specifications. You don't get your $2 for the box, okay? There you go. What we're gonna do is kind of use the eye and a field test. Like I can see right here, you probably can't see, but that is off easily by a 32nd. So I'm gonna push it back in till it comes up flush, and then I'm gonna do the same thing here. I'm gonna push that in to the point where it's nice and flush, 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 and flush. And now I'm gonna give this clamp one more little squeeze, because now it's gonna hold that in perfect alignment as long as we don't drop it, move it around too much. Key tip. Here we go. Next step is I need to drill 4 holes in this side, 4 holes in that side. So I'm gonna bring this out to the edge of my workbench, kind of line it up with this outside edge. Gonna take my second quick clamp here, and I'm gonna go vertical with it, and I'm gonna clamp it right next to my other clamp and clamp it to the workbench. I don't have to squeeze too hard, but I'm gonna go nice and firm, because now it holds the workpiece to the workbench so that if I start putting pressure in this direction as I'm drilling and screwing, it doesn't move out of the way. That makes sense. Okay. Alignment's done. Layout's done. Now it's time for this little bad boy. Ready, set, go. All right. If you remember, this drill tip, super cool. Does 5 things. It's a 5-in-1. Okay. First thing it's going to do is going to be a driver bit for our fastener. Okay. So let's see if I can show this to you on camera. And who am I going to ask? I'm going to ask Mateo. Merton, are you out there? Merton? Excellent. Can you tell me, let me let the camera focus here. Dun, dun, dun. Would that driver tip drive this fastener? Yes or no? Excellent. I can't get the focus. Where is it? Boom, boom. Autofocus. Excellent. So first thing I need to do is I need to change that driver tip to match that fastener, which happens to be a number 2 Phillips head. Bom, bom, bom. Number 2 Phillips head. I reach over to my bag and look at this. This is going to be in your bag. You're like, ooh, that's sweet. This is the combination of driver bits that we're going to be using, and that will do probably 80% of every job you ever have. And it's in this cool little driver pouch, which is there, and then this, rubberized case that holds it all together. Super cool. So if I come in here and I go, ooh, look, there is my number 2 Phillips head bit. Bada bing. So I'm going to pull that one out because I need to exchange it with this one right here. So then I pull this one out. Oh, wait. It doesn't come out. Okay, who am I talking? Am I talking to Mateo? Yeah. Mateo, are you still there? Mateo. Excellent. Do you remember how we changed that driver bit when it is kind of tightened into the fastener there? Excellent. So go like that, and then what? Perfect. And then that little Allen wrench screw right there, how do I loosen that so that I can pull this tip out? What? You mean that little thing right there? Excellent. So the Allen wrench is built right in the tool. So if I put the Allen wrench into the Allen bolt and I go lefty-loosey just a little bit, voila, it comes out. Okay, so I'm going to put that one back in our holster because we always put tools back where they belong. And then that goes back in that little pouch right there. And then I take my number 2 Phillips head and I slide it into there. I go righty-tighty a little bit. I put it back in the tool, lock the collar, load it into my driver, tighten, hold the back, tighten the chuck, bada bing, we're ready to rock and roll. Excellent. Okay, so that's one function of this cool little tool. We know we have to drive to the screw, and we also have to do a pilot hole and a countersink. What if we flip this? Look what's on the other side. Pilot hole, drill bit, countersink, cutter. So the black part and the silver part are going to be a 2-in-1 deal. 2-in-1 tool. Perfecto. So if I am going to be using this length of a screw, okay, I need to make sure my pilot bit is the same length. Let's see if I can show this to you. And in this case, it's not, right? Pilot bit is a little bit short. We need to push it out, okay? So here we go again. We're going to pull it out. We're going to loosen that little Allen screw right there. Bada bing. We're going to loosen that. And I'm going to pull that drill bit out to match the length of the screw that we're using. Look at that. Beautiful. Okay, once I've got my length correct, I'm going to tighten that Allen nut. Oops, back that in a little bit. So that it holds the drill bit in place. And bada bing, we are now set up to do our pilot holes. Here we go. Okay, we're about a quarter after, so we're getting close. But let me just show you this technique so it kind of finishes out the day. Now, in the camera view, you're not going to be able to see what I'm doing on this vertical surface. But trust me, I'm going to put that drill tip right there on our layout lines. X marks the spot, and going to start drilling our pilot holes, okay? So this table is pretty low, so I'm actually going to go down on one knee so I can see what I'm doing. And I've got the tool parallel to this attaching board right here. That's not parallel. That's not parallel. You can see it in the camera because you're right above it. That should be parallel. So that is the top view parallel. And then I've got the up and down parallel that I need to make sure I'm driving through. And you can't see that, but I'm checking here to the work surface and it should be parallel, and make sure my drill point is on the layout line. And I put my drill motor on the drill setting, and let's do a pilot hole. So we're drilling. I'm going to stop and back it out to clear the flutes, and then I'm going to keep pushing until I see the cutting tip of the countersink takes a little bit of that material out that's the same diameter of the head of our screw. And you can't see that, but I will show that to you here in a second. Second hole, drilling parallel, clear the flutes, finish my pilot hole, cut my countersink, good to go. Second side, lay out on my line, check my parallel, drill, clear the flute, finish the drill, cut the countersink. Last hole on this side, hit the mark, check your parallel, drill, clear the flutes, drill, and cut the countersink. Okay, looks good. 4 holes, super quick. Now I'm going to change it to the driver. So collar forward, rotate 180, back inside, lock the collar, come over here, there's our fasteners, grab 4 of those little bad boys, change my drill setting from driver to, or drill to the driver mode. I'm going to put it on about a 12, the clutch, and see how it does. Ooh, that's nice. Okay, there's 1. There's 2. Here's 3. And there's 4. Okay, looking good. Now, I've got to do the opposite side of the box, so I'm going to remove this clamp. I'm going to rotate 180, line it up to the outside edge, bring my clamp back in here, snug that down, pilot hole setting, right? Click, rotate, click. Put mine on the layout line, check my parallel, drill. Clear the flutes. There's one. Clear the flutes. Cut the countersink. You can see me barely triggering, which turns on the LED light, which is real helpful for me to see my layout lines in the current light situation I'm in. So that is working super good. Clear the flutes. Finish the pilot hole. Cut the countersink. Last, line up my layout. Check my parallel. Drill. Clear the flute. Drill. Cut my countersink. Okay. And then I'm just taking my finger and the little debris that's left from the cutting, I can just wipe that clear. Then I'm going to switch to my driver, clear my bit, grab 4 more, 1, 2, 3, 4, and driver setting is on 12, clip setting is on 12. Nice one. So that clicking sound that you're hearing right here, that is a good thing. That is the clutch engaging the tool so that we don't overdrive and make a mistake and split this wood out. So if you set the clutch setting correctly, you get an accurate, quick way to drive all of these screws, and you know they're set to the right torque, and it's coming up nice and flush. So now we removed one clamp, we removed second clamp, and look at that, boys and girls, we got ourselves a box. Okay, so there it is. This is just scrap wood, you guys. We're going to be using what we have. But now I'm going to do a little inspection. Okay, so let's first check our square, see if we're square. Dun, da, da, da. I'm going to hold this up. I don't see any black showing right there, so I'm good there. I'm good there. Dun, da, da, da. See that? Good. And if 2 sides are square, the other 2 sides are going to be square. So check. Rounded over edges are on the outside. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it flush? Can you see it? Let me go this way. Flush. That looks flush. That looks nice and flush. That looks nice and flush. Ooh, that one's really nice. Okay, I'm 3 for 3. Number 4, is it countersunk and flush to the outside surface? I pilot hold and countersink. Yes, yes, yes. And I'm actually feeling that with my finger. You can also see it. If you're looking at it, you go, okay, it's not sticking out, so that's good. Flush, 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 flush. Quality control inspector says, thumbs up. You just made yourself $2. Okay? Ta-da! All right. There you go. I hope that was kind of fun. I hope that was engaging enough to be able to understand some of these terms, because we will be looking at everything we learned right here again and again and again. And then as you try it and you make mistakes and then learn how to correct them and then get more efficient and proficient at these skills, that's what we're shooting for. Okay, so no worries, we're going to keep things going, and once we have material with us, the hands-on learning will begin, and hopefully this all comes together and is super fun for you. The pictures on the screen kind of show you the specifications. So we have 3/8 of an inch over, 3/4 of an inch up. That is what the corner should look like, nice and flush with the 2 screws countersunk. There is the countersink with the fastener inserted right there. There is your flush and square corner. Bada bing. We made ourselves a cool little box. Okay, Everybody, that is it for today. I hope that's enough for you guys to chew on and think about.